All right, you're rolling on camera 3. We are rolling on sound. CSS, scene 1, take 1, roll, mark. So I got started in theater a long time ago, back in 2009, 2010, I believe, with Willy Wonka. And it was, I tried it out. It was my first kids theater workshop production. And at first I wasn't sure what the concept of theater was, what was expected of me. And so I went into it, pretty blindly. And at the time I was still, sensitive to certain types of sounds, certain types of environments, being on the autism spectrum. And I ended up bailing out of the show. It was really too much for me. And so I waited a couple of years, and then my father told me about stage crew, which I instantly took a liking to. I went to a rehearsal backstage for Beauty and the Beast, and I was hooked. As soon as I started doing backstage crew, I started considering doing more on-stage stuff with The Grinch. And The Grinch was my very first show at the Endicott Performing Arts Center, and I was the mayor's helper. And at that point, I realized, you know what, it really isn't so bad. I needed to build up a tolerance. I really wasn't sure what I was going into when I tried out for Willy Wonka. But once I was into The Grinch, I finally had a clue what was going on. I believe this is the first ever Grinch script that I had in 2012. I was cast as the mayor's helper, and did I highlight my lines? Just going back, oh my goodness, all those memories. The Cambria font, I always remember the Cambria font. Oh man. The first show that I have ever done, right here, in this script right here, it's making me choke up a little bit, actually. Because I never really had looked at a script like this before. So as soon as I started from Grinch, I went on to Shrek, which was my first lead in the Kids Theater Workshop production in 2014. And that was the moment when I realized, okay, I have something that I didn't realize I had before. And here it is, Shrek the Musical, the first Kids Theater Workshop script that I had ever gotten. Oh my God, I'm getting so many emotions coming back from this. I can't believe that I was able to pull off this role at such a young age. I was 14 at the time, and wow, that's 16 scenes, 17 scenes. My first Kids Theater Workshop show. It's going to go down in history as one of the best moments of my life. The big ballads in Shrek, such as Who I'd Be and Build a Wall, those were really the chances where I could go on that stage and just sing my heart out and express who I was as an actor playing the role of Shrek. And I was hooked. I was hooked on doing more theater, and so I continued to do theater, and I got cast for other lead roles, such as You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was cast as Charlie Brown. In School of Rock, I was cast as Dewey Finn. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, I was cast as Theseus. In Elf the Musical, I was cast as Buddy. And in Newsies, I was cast as Jack Kelly, among other roles and other experiences that I've had at the Endicott Performing Arts Center. So really, I kept bringing an energy to EPAC that I never expected to bring, that I never thought it would come to EPAC before. But I'm very happy it did, and I'm very happy that I've made my mark. These Shrek ears here, these were not the same ones that I had worn when I was playing Shrek, but I still got these from EPAC, and they really remind me of when I played it when I was, 14. Here we have my old Elf Junior script. It's when I played Buddy. Of course, they condensed it down to a smaller show than the actual show. But it was a really fun show, and it's good that it was a smaller script, so I really didn't have to do as much. What do we have next? Aha! So this is the script for an original production that I was in called Ascend, and it was a biblical piece. The writer of this show came down to Endicott to have this produced, and I just remember having so much fun. And it was something special because I got to be part of an original cast, and I most likely will never be able to be a part of the cast of an original show again. So it was really an honor to be a part of this. My favorite role, it's between Shrek and Buddy. My favorite role is between Shrek and Buddy. Shrek because it was my first role that I've ever done, and it really meant a lot to me doing Shrek, because it was that moment when I realized that theater is clicking with me. Like there is something that I find as a passion in this that I want to continue doing. And Buddy, honestly, because it was the best performance I had ever done by far. Long shot. Also, being an elf, the moments that I've made on the stage during Elf can never be recreated again. Honestly, they can never be recreated because we had such an amazing cast that we were like this. There can never be another cast like that again. The fact that I was able to just go nuts on stage for 2 hours, for a week straight, every night for a week straight, it was so magical to me because I could have so much fun and go insane, and the audience would still love it. And it was like I said, it was my best performance. I honestly, before I was in Elf, I really wasn't interested in Elf. I'd never seen the movie. I really wasn't interested in the movie, and I thought Will Ferrell was, kind of annoying. But then I tried it, and I blew the character out of the park. I essentially created almost a sort of legacy without even realizing it. School of Rock, Winter Garden Theater. I saw it before I actually did the show, and it really changed some aspects of how I viewed theater and viewed Broadway and viewed the stage space because of how much they used it in a different way than I was used to. But it was still amazing, and it changed my life. So with School of Rock, I actually was required to learn guitar in about 6 weeks, maybe even a little bit less than that. And I do not regret that decision one bit. I started with simple, one finger on a fret, just playing notes, playing chords, simple stuff. And then here I am playing complex, flowery stuff. More heavy, maybe sometimes a little bit more lyrical. So it was, that was the first moment when I thought to myself, okay, this is an instrument that I want to keep doing. This is an instrument that I feel like I can really be passionate about playing, and it is certainly reflected today in what I play and how I play and when I play and what I incorporate it in. And over the years, I've saved a lot of candygrams from shows that I've been in. Thanks for being such a cool teacher. That's from one of the other members of the cast. Awesome job, Dewey. Good luck with music coaching. It's a great artifact to see because, it brings back so many memories. It's not just what you get from the show, it's what you get to take away from the entire production. And I still remember I still remember receiving them, every single one, and it really impacts me that way. Oh, I remember each one of these. What's fun about when I was in Charlie Brown, the entire cast got to tour, and I'd never been part of a touring cast before, but each of the kids that were in the cast, well, we were kids, high school kids at the time, we toured at local schools in the community, and one of the schools that we toured at was an elementary school, and all of the elementary school kids gave us little drawings and little cards. One of them said, "Thank you." They drew this nice picture on the front. We have a nice little drawing of Charlie Brown. "Thank you for performing. You're a good man, Charlie Brown." EPAC's Charlie Brown. "Dear EPAC group, thank you for performing at our school. I loved it." Seeing this, it just makes what I do, and it makes the effort that I put into the show that much more special, because I know that I'm inspiring these kids, and I know that I am doing something that they're going to remember for a long, long, long time. "Dear EPAC, thank you for coming to our school. Thank you for doing the play for us." It goes all the way back to kindergarten. The kids who saw it all the way back to kindergarten. It was one of the most funniest things I ever saw. Also, my favorite character is, well, really nobody. I loved all of you. And my favorite scene was probably the baseball scene. That was the best thing I saw so far in 3rd grade. Oh, so we went from kindergarten to 3rd grade. So living under the autism spectrum as an actor, really, you get some strengths and some challenges with it. So something I consider as a strength is just the amount of time that I spend thinking about the material that I'm doing as an actor. When you're on the autism spectrum, sometimes thoughts stick in your head. And as an actor, if you're trying to memorize a script, that's very helpful. That's very, very helpful. And so what I'm able to do is I'm able to memorize my lines a lot more efficiently. Also, I tend to go all out, and that really has shown to be one of the most helpful things that I've done, one of the most helpful things that I've pursued in my course as an actor is using as much energy as I can and not holding back. And I think that's one of the strengths for living on the spectrum as an actor. More of the challenges per se, every single day I struggle with communication, every single day, even now as I'm speaking. When it comes to saying lines, I am able to communicate a little bit better because I'm saying something that is prescribed to me, and it's something that I can recite off the top of my head because I have it ingrained in my mind and I can just take it out and it can be there. When it comes to saying stuff off the top of my head, it's really not the easiest thing because you have to think and say to yourself, is what I'm saying making sense right now while you're saying it? And that's one of the biggest challenges for the autism spectrum, is that you really have to be thinking what you're saying all the time, especially as an actor, because you don't want to make yourself look dumb. I remember having a lot of rehearsals up here, and a lot of what we did rehearsing was staging or music. Really, it was up here. It was the pianos right over there, and we all sat. Sometimes we were in a circle, sometimes we were in like church pews, but a lot of what we did was up here. I remember doing rehearsals for scene work for Newsies right in this space. We all sat around in a circle here and did scene work, like 5 or 6 of us, and went through some major scenes in the show, and it was really a moment for us to connect in this really small space. EPAC Dance Studio, also a common rehearsal space for scenes and running shows before we get back to the stage, but this is where the choreographers brought the music to life through movement and dance. And I always made sure that I was towards the front, towards the mirrors, so I could really look at myself and examine how I was doing as a performer, as a dancer, as an actor, see if I needed to improve anything in myself, see if I was doing anything incorrectly. So it was really, I got to connect with myself a little bit more on this level. And we always used this little box here when I was actually an instructor for the Wizard of Oz, the Kids Theater Workshop program. And I always had the kids warm up with the same thing every single time we did dance class. Same routine, same music, and it really brought us closer. Really connected us a little bit more as a class and as an instructor. Yeah, a lot of memories made up here. A lot of things that we learned up here, that I learned up here, and honestly, it's a place for self-expression up here. My involvement with theater has changed my life. It's changed my life. I have learned metacognition. I have learned metacognition through my involvement with theater. I've learned to think about how I reason through things. I've learned to think about how I deal with things. I've learned patience. I've learned discipline, and I've learned teamwork and cooperation. And honestly, I don't think I would have been able to learn those things with really anything else as much as I did with theater. And how well I was able to do it because I was passionate about the material. And so once I was passionate about the material, then I could look more on myself and see, okay, what can I improve on? What is something that I can take away from this? How can I learn from this? And so that's really what I've taken away, and I still do to this day. With every single show, I go into it with a fresh mind, and I think to myself, you know, with every show, I know nothing. Let's learn something new, so I can take the skills that I learned from this show and make something new of it. I'm hoping that theater remains a very big part of my life because it has been, and I'm hoping that if I ever have children or if I meet somebody new, that I can get them involved or at least inform them on how much theater can do to impact your life, because it really can. And it impacted me, especially living under the spectrum. It brings out a new person in you. It brings out a new spirit, a new life, a new soul within you.